You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your number one source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome, one and all. Today is November 16th, 2021. This is episode 80. Goddamn, 80 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show I stay up to date where all the ins and outs of what's happening so you don't have to. I'm CQ, I'm your Pop Culture Warrior. And with me, as always, is this lovely specimen right here. He's my own very special secret ingredient to the success of this show. He's the man in the bubble, the voice of the unpop culture, Mr. Radar, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, everybody?
Hi.
Hi, Radar.
It's even funnier when you don't do it on cue. Say hi, Radar.
Hi, Radar.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming out. Thanks for joining us tonight. We got a great one for you. Got a great one. Happy would be your birthday if you were born on this day, Jim. Good for you, bud. He said, it's my birthday if I was born today. Good for you, man. What is up? What is up? Quick shout out to everybody that's out here. I see you, Max, a lot. I see you, Mike. Welcome, welcome. Steven, David, Heath, Jim. The Baconator is in the presence. We're in the presence of the Baconator. Sam Cantor. What is up, buddy? We are live here on WTF Nation Radio. Home.
You know what I found?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you enjoy this or not, but Shiner has their holiday beers out. Their Christmas beers.
We are not sponsored by Shiner Beers.
It's the only Christmas decorations I allow in this house before Thanksgiving.
Shout out to Shiner if you're looking to sponsor
you hook it up.
a podcast. So, speaking of which,
we do have a sponsor.
We do have a sponsor. Real quick shout out to our guys over at Animation Legends. You don't know what Animation Legends are, you're missing out. They sell the coolest thing. It's getting close to the holiday shopping time, man. If you're looking for a really cool gift for the geeky, nerdy, pop culture lovey person in your life or yourself, Animation Legends, check them out. There's a link, it's pinned in the chats. Also a special coupon code PCW10 for a special discount for the fans. They sell these really cool, it's film animation cells. So all those cartoons that we grew up on, right? The Gargoyles, Darkwing Ducks, Care Bears, He-Man, Spider-Mans, X-Men's, all of those cartoons that we grew up loving. Bugs Bunny, you name it. They were all hand-drawn back in the day. Before everything went digital, they were hand-drawn. So these guys recover, preserve, restore, and sell the animation cells, the original cells. You can hold something in your hand that was once on your cartoon screen watching your favorite show. So I myself purchased some from the Back to the Future TV series as well as the Ultimate Spider-Man series, and I loved all of them. They were so cool. What a cool gift. So yeah, shout out to Animation Legends. They're awesome for sponsoring our show. I love their product, and I got mine. I gotta frame them. I'm gonna frame them in the background somewhere.
Well, what are they made out of? What is it? Glass or is it?
No, it's like a
Mylar or something.
Yeah, it's like a plastic. It's like a plastic Mylar. It's something that they could lay down that was clear. You know, it had to be able to because you had a backdrop, right? You had a background that was a solid image.
Yes.
And then they would lay down these plastic with individual drawings on them that they could just remove and put on, remove and put on, remove and put on to make the characters come to life.
Like one frame of that, or was it like, do they do like a flip book?
Yeah, it was like stop animation, right? Like the claymation where they just take a picture, move the thing, take a picture, move the thing. All
right. Yeah. I didn't. I mean, I've seen the process. Like everyone as a kid, I think at least of our generation, made like little stick-figure flip books in the corner of your math book because math is stupid.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you kind of did that, and you're like, oh, it'll be the run-in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I don't know if it was like that, or if they just put a new one on there, take a picture, and I know like just because you get one, if it's they didn't do all of them separate, right? So there are ones they reuse throughout the whole kind of run of and there are ones that are kind of specific to each episode. I wonder which ones are worth more money.
I mean, let's be honest, the shows that are more popularly known are going to be worth more money, right?
No,
You
no,
get
understand. Like, okay, so if you have one where it's, okay, look, like the one you're talking about where it's, Back to the Future,
Mhm.
right? And you got Marty McFly and he's standing there kind of in a stoic pose, and they use that over and over and over again. If that's worth more money than one where he's kind of doing something that they only use one time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it applies that way. I think it's more
More,
the size and clarity of right because if you get like a side profile where it's like all shoulder and some head, if you get like a nice straight on profile shot of the main character, then yeah, and it fills up most of the frame, nice close up. That's gonna be the most money. And then obviously if he's in the background, he's like this tiny on the image and kind of obscured by something, then yeah, that's gonna be worth less money. But either way, they it was great, man. Go back a couple episodes. We did the interview with the guys that the VP from there, and he talks about how they rate each image, right, based on the size, based on the clarity and the color and the quality of how good it lasted, right? If it's all wrinkly or jacked up, um, for those reasons, you rate them differently. But anyway, I digress.
Right. Okay, so other question: if I go on there and I order something, right? Do you get like a packet of them, or do you get one of them? Or
Great question. So, for those that might be interested in purchasing them, and we did not script this, by the way. This almost sounds scripted, but this is just us chatting about it. No, you can buy. So, if you wanted to buy a very specific one from a specific show of a specific character, they have what's called their exclusives, where it's like one-off images. So, like once it's sold, it's gone. That image is gone. Then, if you were like, well, I just want to buy random pictures, and obviously that exclusive one's going to be more expensive. It could range, $50, $100, $200. Whereas if you can get a $25 package of like 5 to 15 different images from a show, you would say like, I like Care Bears, and you would click on the Care Bears, 5-pack, 10-pack, 15-pack. It's like $25-$35, and then you get, before the 10% off that our listeners get. And then you would get their random images, but they have a way to package it where they go, you're always going to get 2 A rated images, 2 I think it's like B images, and then like 1 C image. So a C image could be like it's a character but he's kind of obscured, or like it's just his head and his arm, or things like that. But you'll always get that, like the 2 really good quality, the 2 pretty good quality, and the one that's just nice to have. So yeah, so that answers that. For I mean, whatever show you're into, they got whatever you're into. But yeah. So what else we got? Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, we got sidetracked. I derailed.
we got derailed. We got sidetracked. So real quick, upcoming later on tonight, we have a very special guest, Bill Chase, who is a good buddy of mine. He's a TV script writer, producer, and show creator for a couple different hit shows, and so very excited to talk to him tonight. Talk to us about script writing and creating shows and producing shows and what is it really like to be in the business. Great guy. I mean, he was just such a nice guy. I've known him for many years, and I've never asked him to be on the show, and we had an opening this week. It's so funny because I don't know, maybe because he's a friend, I feel awkward like, hey, come on my show, because he's a friend. But we had an opening this week, and I just randomly reached. We were actually texting back and forth about something else, and I was randomly like, hey man, I've never asked you to be on my show, but you want to come on my show? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I was like, all right, I guess he's coming on the show.
Like,
so,
fine.
Yeah.
I guess you can be on the show then.
I want to ask him. I wonder if it's like when he's gonna ask me to be on the show, like, because he's aware of it, So I wonder if he's just been like waiting, or if he's just like, I never thought you'd ask. So interesting. Also, if you kind of see me keep looking over to the side here, it's because I have YouTube up on the side, and it's because for a very specific reason. Any minute now, any minute now, between now and 9 p.m. Eastern, they're going to be dropping the new Spider-Man trailer. This is supposed to be the one. This is the one that they said it's so big, it's going to blow your brains out. It's something you don't expect. I don't know what that means. I don't know, because we have such high expectations for the Spider-Man movie now that I don't know what hasn't been expected at this point. It's like, well, I don't expect Batman to show up, right? Because it's a Marvel movie. But if he fucking shows up in this trailer, I'm gonna lose my shit. So what?
I mean, I don't know anymore,
haven't
dude.
we expected?
That's the only thing. I did see today
that Batman.
it was from Andrew Garfield saying he is not in the show. He's not.
He has said that so many times. So Andrew Garfield has said it. Tobey Maguire said it.
He came out again today and said, "I am not in the newest Spider-Man release."
Yeah. Well, we shall see.
So, do you believe him?
Here's the thing. This is so hard, but I do believe they're in it. I do. I'm starting to believe they're in it. Now, I say that with a smidge of hesitation in that okay. I do believe, lost my train of thought, that they're in it, but it's going to be very limited. Like a scene or two, the finale. I don't think post-credit scene. I don't think you pulled these guys into, well, maybe post-credit scene. I don't know. Maybe that's why they can keep saying, like, we're not in the movie, because they're in the post-credit scene. You know what I mean? Like, technically, we didn't lie. We're not in the movie. We're in the post-credit scene. I don't know. Thank you, Ice. Appreciate it. Sorry. So I'm distracted because I keep checking to see if like they've posted the video, if they posted the trailer yet. Because I'm like, come on, man, where is it? Drop it. Drop the trailer. Because we're gonna watch it live as soon as they post it. We're watching it. So hopefully it'll be before 9 p.m.
What do you think about that? Scott's comment that the post-credit scene is just going to set up the Sony Spider-Verse.
I mean, that's a logical thought. I said this, I think, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, where I said I could see this being Tom Holland's last MCU Spider-Man movie. That through the events of this movie, he is pulled out of the MCU and headed straight for the Sony verse, the Sony Spider-Verse, where he'll be with Morbius and Venom and all these other guys doing the Sinister Six and all these other stuff. He says Jake and Taylor are both in the new Spider-Man. Half of that is possible. So anyway, while we wait for that trailer to drop at any moment, God, somebody, if somebody sees it, ping me.
Well, they've probably already watched it. Everyone else, you know what's going to happen?
What's that?
Is we're going to see it in like an hour.
Yeah.
After Screen Crush and everyone has done their
well, probably.
Their
Probably. I don't know. Okay. So, putting that aside.
Yes.
Last Friday was a huge day. Did you know it was Disney Plus Day?
I did.
You did. Look at you. You're so dialed into I'm so proud of you. Getting all dialed into the pop culture world. So, did you see any of the announcements? No? Okay, well, great, because we're going to go over
them. What I did do? I watched some of the shows, though.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I watched the new Frozen one with the snowman Olaf.
Okay.
It's some short, very funny.
Yes.
Watch it. It's funny.
Okay.
But you have words.
Yeah. Okay. So here, let me put us into hey Marty. I'm gonna put us in a little split screen here. Very exciting. So now we're gonna focus specifically on Marvel, obviously, because Disney Plus announced a bunch of stuff, including Star Wars and a bunch of other stuff. But we'll focus here on Marvel for a second. There was many announcements of things we knew were coming. We were very aware were coming, but we got first peeks at, which was very cool. A lot of confirmations of things that we assumed were coming, got confirmations. And then they dropped some stuff on us no one knew was coming. So let's work through this. First up, and I kind of put it in an order of like we will probably be seeing it somewhere in this order. But the first up, based on what they're shooting currently. First up, we got Moon Knight. They played a short clip, like 20-second clip, and then I'm like, if I play it, we might get striked by Disney or something. So here's just a little screen grab of the costume, which I think, from what we can see, I think looks pretty damn good. I like it. They did the eagle's beak kind of hood, which I'm like, that's critical. That is. It sounds dumb, but if you knew Moon Knight, if you knew the comic book, if they just put him in some hood, not the same. It had to be this very like over the side and then like widow's peak, eagle's beak kind of a point that hangs right almost in front of his eyes. And from this image, they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. The rest of the outfit is usually like spandex-ish material, so they obviously went with more of a woven fabric-y, which, you know, making most costumes look more or less realistic versus just him in a white spandex outfit, which would be just weird. But I think it looks
Especially
good.
when it rains.
He's like, you guys hear that? As he's running across the rooftops. It's like, I strike fear wherever I go. Anyway, that was dumb. What do you think of the image? What do you think of the I mean, obviously, it's not much to look at, but
just like me, it's not much to look at. No, it looks. I know you're really excited about this.
I am, and I like that they got Oscar Isaac to play it. I think he's gonna do a good job. I really do. I think he's gonna bring that. You know, if you know the character, he's
to make it good.
I mean, that's the hope. That's the hope, really. I mean,
this is going to be a Disney Plus series. Right?
This is the Disney Plus series. This is all Disney Plus series we're talking about.
Did they say a release date for it?
No, but it's going to be soon.
But they are shooting it right now.
It is, yes. It's currently in production. These are real images. They played a couple clips of like a close up of Oscar Isaac, and he did give like the crazy eyes, which, you know, if you know the character Moon Knight, he's Mark Spector, and the whole thing is he does have powers. He is possessed by like whatever is Kishu, the moon god or whatever. But he's also like schizophrenic and crazy, which I think is gonna make for a really interesting character, right? Yes. Because like when he's the vigilante, when he's Moon Knight, he's crisp and clear and like vengeance personified. But like when he's his normal self, he's all like go crazy. So it's an interesting take on a character, and I'm very excited to see that. Very excited to see that in action, as it were. Mike says 8:30 Eastern is when the trailer is going to be available. It's all right, but set your watches 10 minutes, folks, and I'm gonna try to pull that trailer. So right up for this is following his excellent performance in Dune. Oscar Isaac will star as Mark Spector in Moon Knight. Much like in the comics, Spector has a dissociative identity disorder that sees him believing he's the human incarnation of the Egyptian Khonshu. Moon Knight will also star Ethan Hawke, which he's yet to announce who he's actually playing. He's going to be a villain, which is awesome. And it will debut next year, according to Disney. Next up, what do we got next? Next one. Oh, She-Hulk. She-Hulk, played by Tatiana Maslany. She's going to play Jennifer Walters, obviously She-Hulk, a lawyer who inherits Hulk-like powers. In the clip that they showed, we saw her talking to Hulk Smart Hulk, Bruce Banner / Hulk, Smart Hulk, which is interesting because at the end of Shang-Chi, we saw Bruce Banner, not Hulk, Bruce Banner. And so now in this one, we see Smart Hulk. So there's, like, is he figured out how to transform? Also, some people spotted that when he's talking to her as Hulk, his arm is no longer all jacked up. So has he healed? Is this maybe that's a flashback pre-Endgame? I don't know. But it was a very quick glimpse. If you can see, as you can see in the image, the costume is very close to comic book accurate. I like that they didn't make her like overtly Hulk-like, but you're definitely going to want to see a difference between her regular alter ego versus her Hulk alter ego. So yeah, it looks great. It looks great. They showed some images, her talking to camera and everything. Looks really good. I'm excited for it. Sometime in 2022, we'll be getting that series. Next up.
I thought that she was supposed to be like related to Hulk.
Yes, she's going to be like his cousin.
Okay.
Yeah. She's gonna
and it's going to be in the series.
They haven't confirmed that.
Okay.
But in the comic book, she was the cousin of the Hulk. She got some type of, I don't remember if she was sick or she got injured. And then Bruce Banner gave her a transfusion thinking that it wouldn't affect her. And then that's why she got like Hulk light powers. You know what I mean? Like Hulk-ish powers. Hey, from Twitch. I'm not even, Twitch names are the worst. Pookie? The Twitch version of Pookie? Anyway, guys distracted me with your comments. What else we got? So after that, we got to see a bit of Ms. Marvel, which is, again, very cool character. It's interesting to me because Ms. Marvel's got a pretty big following already. She only came to life in the comics in 2016. So that's not that long ago. That's 5-6 years ago. And yet she's got a major following. She was in the Marvel's Avengers video game. She's now getting her own series, her own Disney Plus series. So anyway, she's huge popularity. So this is basically going to follow. She's this little Muslim girl who grows up a super, super like Captain Marvel fan. She's a diehard Captain Marvel fan. And then through some circumstances, she gets imbued with powers, not like Ms. Marvel, but still kind of like wants to live up to her idol. So she takes on the name Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel. And in this shot, again, this is from the clip that they showed, this kind of looks like when she gets hit by whatever ray. This is very similar to, remember in WandaVision, her going through the bubble? Very similar to that.
Okay.
The look of it to me, the way they shot it and the way it kind of like flows over her and she goes through, it's very similar to that. When Monica Rambeau goes through the little bubble thing.
Into Westview.
Yes.
The Hex.
Yes. The Hex. So we got Miss Marvel.
But we knew Miss Marvel was coming.
Yes, this is the list of things.
We've had plenty of information on that one.
This is the list of things that we knew was coming and that they've showed some footage. So the footage was new. The last thing that we knew that was coming that also showed a tease of footage was this one, Secret Invasion. We got our first look at Sam Jackson back for Secret Invasion. We know he's coming back. There's been some rumors like, oh, we might see Coulson back. We might see what's her name? Chloe Bennett coming back as what's her name? Quake. Jesus. Yes. So there's rumors. We don't know that that's true. There's rumors, but we do have confirmed Samuel Jackson will be in it. Ben Mendelsohn, who was the Skrull Talos, he's gonna be back. He'll be back again. And yeah, events will be happening. Things will be going down, and
I fucking love that Samuel Jackson picture. Mm-hmm. Samuel Jackson and that with kind of the radar beard. He's kind of got the radar beard going.
He's got the try me motherfucker look.
Yes, he's
try me.
He's just aging so well. No homo. But I mean, like, he just looks fantastic.
I mean, he looked great. Yeah. I mean, he's old as a mother. But
He's not even. I mean, I don't know how old he is.
he's
Exactly.
old. He's old.
Whatever. He's Samuel L. Jackson. He's like fucking Chuck Norris. You know what I mean? He's just got that stoic fucking.
I would love to see Sam Jackson like promoting like an elliptical thing. Like, I'm Samuel Jackson and I use this, like the way.
Sweat your ass off, motherfucker. Yes.
Anyway, so that was the last one that we knew that was coming, that they showed footage. A couple more that we knew that were coming that they just kind of showed us because, again, hasn't filmed anything. Echo is one of them. Now we know that Maya Lopez is the name of the character behind Echo, played by Alaqua Cox. I can't pronounce that name. I don't pronounce names. She's going to appear in the Hawkeye series. So from that series, she'll be spinning off into her own series called Echo. So we knew that was coming, which, by the way, Hawkeye next week, November 24th. Yeah, let's go. Excited for that one. So that's Echo. That was announced. Ironheart, another one that was announced earlier. We know it was coming, but they gave us the logo and just an update that says Dominique Thorne will star the live-action series. Sees Riri Williams, a.k.a. Ironheart. She's going to create the most advanced suit of armor since Iron Man. So, and rumor has it she'll be appearing first in Black Panther 2. So that's Riri Williams. Again, another one that we knew was coming, but officially announced. What If Season 2? What If Season 2, which, again, loved Season 1. Season 1 was great. Love it. Awesome. Excited to see what they do with Season 2. Kind of left us going like, what if? They said the Watcher will return to meet new heroes and explore more of the MCU multiverse, with AC Bradley set to return as the head writer. Now, they did lead one piece of information about this one, that they're going to do all new heroes, all new stories, but we will see the return of not just the Watcher, but Agent Carter, Captain Carter. Her character will return, because you saw at the end of the they did a little cliffhanger at the end where they find like the Iron Stomper Smasher suit, and they're like, well, who's inside? They will continue with that story, so that will be the kind of like the through line, the through credit line that will tie it together. Yeah, it ties season 1 and season 2, which they did say that there was a lost episode of season 1 that they will show in season 2, which was the Gamora episode. So that'll kind of tie it all together. Very excited to see what they do with that. It was very different and exciting. I liked it. I thought it was great. What else? Another one that we knew was coming. I Am Groot. I Am Groot is going to be a animated series. Again, no release date or anything like this. But it's
is it just fucking 8 hours of I Am Groot?
Apparently.
Okay, look, I like the character. Okay, but if it's literally 8 episodes or 6 episodes, hour-long episodes of I Am Groot, I will fucking murder somebody.
Okay, so yes, I mean it kind of. Okay. Though the idea of this animated series, very much like What If, allowed us to see characters that we would not normally see. I Am Groot is going to be an animated show, so they're going to get to show a lot of characters from obviously the greater cosmic MCU universe that we'll never see in live action. So it's going to be Groot going off on all these adventures, kind of like the old Mickey Mouse shorts or Disney, Pixar shorts, where he's going to get to interact with all these characters.
But even like What If? Like where there's some interaction, like whatever, he's traveling around, I Am Groot. I don't know, we run into...
Yeah, it'd be different things. Different things. All right. So I wanted to burn through that because these are all things that we knew were coming. They had been announced before. They were just giving an update. Now, they dropped a few nuggets on us that, I mean, if you say you knew they were coming, you're crazy. There's no way. I keep my ears open on everything. I read every conspiracy theory out there, and these shocked a lot of people. First one, and the biggest one I got to start out with, is the return of the legend. X-Men 1997. X-Men 97. They are bringing back the original, the OG, the 90s era X-Men back from the dead, picking up right where the series left off. I am so beyond excited for this. I don't even know. I don't even know. I loved that series. Probably only overshadowed by like Spider-Man, the 90s series. But I love the Spider-Man series. I love the X-Men series. Next would have been like the Batman animated series. But the X-Men was quintessential 90s awesome. Like the guitar riff to open it up, I mean, was so metal. The material for a kid's cartoon was adult as fuck. Like there was, fighting and killing and like lust and like all these, heartbreak, love triangles, yeah, attitude. Like it was awesome. I don't know. Did you like the 90s X-Men cartoon?
Medium. I didn't hate it, but here's the deal: by '97, I was a senior in high school, so I didn't have time to watch it a whole lot.
You are too fucking old, dude.
I am, dude. I watched it a few times. I liked it fine. I just didn't get a chance to really get into it.
You're so old.
I am so old.
You're so old. Now, remember, it ended in 1997. It ran from 92 to 97.
Right, and I watched some of the earlier stuff. I watched some of it. By the time I was in high school, dude, I was
thinking about other things.
Track, cross country, swimming, chasing women, getting drunk in cornfields. I didn't have time to watch a lot of cartoons back then.
All right, it's 8:32. Where the hell is the Spider-Man trailer?
I don't know. Not up yet.
It promised me. The trailer that was promised. Watch, it's gonna drop at 9 o'clock now. I bet you. I bet you it drops at 9 o'clock. Whatever. Anyway, I'll be watching it while we're on break. I'll be watching it. Okay, so yeah, so the X-Men, I'm very excited for it. I mean, what's left to say about it? I mean, yeah, it was so good. I was so good. I love that show. I'm so excited. I wonder how well they can recapture that magic, right? Obviously, they bring back the old showrunners. Most voice talent can mimic, either bring back the old ones and they can do what they used to do, or bring ones that can mimic the other ones. But I mean, that was the series that made Wolverine a household name.
Yes.
Wolverine, I mean, while he was big-ish in the comics, he wasn't the mega star he was until X-Men 97.
Nope.
He was bouncing from like team to team. He was here and there. He was like one of the liked characters, but it was this series that made him just household name. So
that or the video game.
Well, remember the video game was based on this show.
About that time. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I remember, like, he was always my go-to in the video game.
Yeah, because he was the coolest. Coolest. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. So another one this one we assumed, it was never announced, but we assumed that it was coming, and that is a spin-off series for Agatha Harkness herself called Agatha, House of Harkness. You see what they did there? Instead of House of Darkness, they went House of Harkness, which part of me thinks could be a temporary title, because to be able to do like House of M, like to say like how Agatha is gonna do like a mutant style House of M kind of thing, be awesome. They've done this before. People forget Marvel has done this before, where they have announced something as one title, only to reveal later on as a different title because they didn't want to spoil it. When Civil War or Winter Soldier was announced, Captain America Winter Soldier, it was originally called when Captain America Civil War was first announced, it was called Captain America Serpent's Head or something like that, like the Hydra's head. And then because they didn't want to tip their hat that Civil War was coming, so they waited till like a year before the movie, before it is. I'm hearing the trailer is out. Let's see if I can pull it up. They dropped it.
Like it's hot.
I don't see it. Oh, there's a watch party. There's a bunch of watch parties happening, but I don't see. Oh my God, it is out. Okay, hang on, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. All right, we're gonna watch this bad boy live right here, right now. Where is it? It's oh my God, I'm so excited. All right, hang on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll bring you to the Spider-Man trailer. Let's all watch and enjoy this goodness. All right, here we go.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
When you botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man, we started getting some visitors. From every universe.
Hello, Peter. You're not Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You know, all this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Please, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Look, there has to be another way.
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone. What's happening?
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 29th. Spider Monday.
Whoa.
Hmm.
Whoa.
Well, there's a multiverse coming.
Well, lot to unpack there. No confirmation that
By
we got
advertising on YouTube, I grow my business by
Let's try that again.
Thanks, YouTube.
There's no confirmation of other Spider-Men. But like now seeing the trailer, I'm almost like so freaking certain. Like I am now 95% sure that the climax of the movie is going to see the other Spider-Man come through and help. Because again, if we've seen the teaser stuff, the leaked images, there's lots of poles and scaffolding in the background of the leaked images, and now we see that final fight is going down on that like Statue of Liberty kind of esque place that's filled with scaffolding. I mean, it's happening. It is 100%. In fact, 99.99% happening. They're not going to say it will. It is happening. But the majority, if we can piece that together, it looks like what they're trying to sell us, because I still think there's a gotcha, a twist, especially with Doctor Strange. But what they're trying to sell us is that, oh, life's hard. He went to Doctor Strange. He tried to do the spell. Peter interfered when he realized, oh my God, what this actually means is they're going to erase me from everybody's memory, including the Avengers, including Doctor Strange, including his loved ones. He's going to erase himself from everybody's memory. He's going to realize, oh, I don't want that. And he interrupts the spell, which then fractures this reality, which then brings, for whatever reason, villains specifically. And if you caught the line, all villains that had to die or that died in, Spider-Man's presence, right? All the villains that they chose for this, Goblin, Ock, Sandman, we saw Sandman, we saw Lizard, and we saw Electro, which right there is 5 of the Sinister Six. So I wonder where the 6th one could be. Could it be Doctor Strange is actually Mysterio? I don't know. I doubt it, because Mysterio can't do magic. But you get the point. Absolutely, there's no conceivable way that Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, alone takes on the Sinister Six and wins. No conceivable way. So, obviously, there's some sort of, the box that he's given by Doctor Strange is supposed to, capture their souls or whatever, return them to their place. But he, being Tom Holland, feels guilty that these are all people that died fighting Spider-Man. And, our go-lucky 17, 18-year-old Spider-Man's like, oh, gosh, I want to save them. And that's when he gets into the fight with Doctor Strange about, how they're going to fix it. And then things get worse. And then, boom, end of the reality and whatnot. But, whew, that was a lot. What'd you think?
Yeah.
That was a lot.
It was a lot. And I don't know, dude. Andrew Garfield said he's not in it. He promised.
Mike Larson says the 6th character would be Paul Giamatti coming back as Rhino. I don't know. I don't see it. No. It wasn't like beloved. Like, think about it. Okay, so here's the interesting part. We've got 2 from the Raimi verse, Green Goblin and Doc Ock. We've got 2 from the Andrew Garfield verse, which is Lizard. Oh no, we had 3 because Sandman was in the Sam Raimi universe. So Sandman, Doc Ock, and Green Goblin from the Sam Raimi universe, the first Spider-Man universe, and then Electro and Lizard from Tobey Maguire's universe. So, I mean, Mike, you might be onto something, or like Heath says, the 6th is the Vulture from Tom Holland's universe. Maybe he breaks out of prison. Or, look, we've had Vulture, we've had Mysterio, but we've also seen in the Venom movie that Venom got pulled into this universe. So maybe Venom? But maybe Venom comes, but their version of Venom is more of kind of a good guy / bad guy. Yeah. So if anything, he would join the Spider-Men in the fight against the Sinister Six. I think he's part of the Spider Posse, Shut up. Spider Posse. Claw's dead. Heath, good guess, but Claw's dead. We saw him die. Unless it's Claw from a different universe. But, so yeah, possibly Paul Giamatti back as the Rhino. Possibly, a lot of people are speculating Jake Gyllenhaal never died as whatchamacallit. I don't know. Has the MCU Spider-Man villains, has any of them died? Vulture was captured. Mm-hmm. Gyllenhaal technically died. Mysterio died. But I still say, it's Mysterio. He could have faked his own death.
There's a lot of going back and forth on that.
I don't know. But the trailer looks great. The trailer looks great.
I did like in that. I'm guessing that's the final scene or whatever. Where they're on
it is.
Yeah. And they show the multiverse.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of multiverse that they showed in Loki.
Yeah.
And in other things too. That same kind of fracturing.
I'm curious. That's a great point, Radar. I'm curious. Do they tie it into Loki at all? Not the sense of like, oh, here comes Loki, but in the sense of like, are these two events related? Correlate. You know what I'm saying? Is this something happening at the same time the Loki fracture is happening? So like as Loki broke the timeline, that's right when the Spider-Man when the spell went wrong, and that compounded it, or is it completely separate, right? Like the Loki thing is not even part of this thing. I don't know. It seems too coincidental to say that, oh, Loki fractured the timeline, and here is Doctor Strange and Spider-Man fracturing the multiverse. I don't know.
Yes.
Or the two that shall never meet. Whatever.
Well, you'd think. I mean, if they're going to use the same graphics and the same sort of premise of the way the multiverse works,
yeah, and it's MCU,
you almost have to say the two are related in some way, or one was allowed to happen because of the other.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense, like when He Who Remains, like, I don't know what happens next.
Yeah.
Like maybe that was Doctor Strange breaking the multiverse.
Yeah.
It's and possible. Allowed them to do that, or vice versa. They destroyed He Who Remains and opened the door for that spell to actually work.
Yeah.
If they would have not done what they done, Loki and Sylvie,
right,
that the TVA would have came in and
stopped Strange from splitting the multiverse. Yeah, that's very possible. I mean, they could have been a variant.
And I don't know how you tie those two together. Maybe in like Loki 2 or something like that. Then you can tie those together and say, oh, well, this is what's going on. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, oh yeah, well, I can do this now because Loki's a fuck. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, Scott brings up a good point too. If you think of it as Loki fractured the timeline to all these different splinter realities and timelines, and it's in this specific branch of that timeline, the spell is basically like lassoing and pulling people from other timelines.
Right.
So that is something that's only happening in this branch of reality, but it's pulling people from other timelines. Kind of like what the TVA does.
It's allowing that to happen.
Right. Exactly.
There's no TVA to.
Exactly.
Okay.
That, and I think that makes sense. The other thing that I'm going to infer, I'm gonna put it out here. You can say if I'm wrong or not later, because it seems in the trailer, the way they make it say is that Spider-Man goes in, breaks the spell, and in breaking that spell is what causes all this chaos. I would wager a bet that Spider-Man has the conversation with Strange. He goes to do the spell, and I can see two possibilities, right? Everybody's been saying this isn't really Doctor Strange. It's too weird, right? So maybe it's somebody trying to do what Doctor Strange does, and the spell he does messes up everything, and he kind of blames it on Spider-Man, even though he didn't. But let's just say it really is. I think the spell of him doing all the stuff maybe fractures the timeline, and it's in Doctor Strange trying to pull it all back together is when, the other guys break through. I don't know. It makes sense in my head, but I'm not doing a great job at explaining it. But either way, that was intense. That was like camping. It was intense.
Yes, it was intense. I did like it. You're way more excited about it than I am, honestly.
Yeah. I don't care.
I just got it. Just the resounding thing to me is every time we watch the theater, we talk about Spider-Man. In this particular movie, it just seems like there's so much happening. They're not going to have time to. I feel like it's going to be a cheat.
Well, it's almost a 3-hour movie.
Yes. But
it's
still,
almost a 3-hour movie.
They're introducing or reintroducing at least 6 new characters.
Well, reintroducing
the multiverse and doing all of these things. Like it's a lot, dude. And then all the fight scenes that we've already been privy to a little bit of.
Yeah,
those are all going to take build up and tear down and all these things. Like it's just, I feel like it's going to be a lot, and I hope they do, but I really feel like it's going to be a stretch to cover all the things.
We'll see. I'm going to need to watch that trailer at least 20 more times, which I'll do after.
I might watch it one more time where I can watch it.
I'm going to have to watch.
Because when we watch it on here, you get to watch it live.
Yeah, the sync is off for you.
The sync is off for me, so I don't get to see
the sound and the action happening. Yeah, I know. It's
I'll watch it at least one time. 20, not so much.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have a break here coming up soon. You can watch it. I'm going to watch it 20 times, and then I'm going to watch videos of breakdowns frame by frame of the shot, and then what everyone speculates those frames to be. Because that's the kind of crazy I am. And I know it. I own it. It is me. I'm fine with it. Real quick, before we take a break, I want a couple more that were announced at Disney Plus Day, tying into what we're just talking about. Spider-Man, freshman year. This is an interesting take. Because when we pick up Spider-Man in the MCU, he is a sophomore in high school. Because in Homecoming, he was a sophomore. In the other one, he's a junior. And in this one, he's going to be like almost a senior. So we don't really know. And when we picked up Spider-Man in Civil War, he was already Spider-Man, quote, for the last 6 months. So we don't know our Peter Parker pre-Spider-Man. So this series is going to be an animated series, but it is the canon of what happened in his freshman year. So this is pre-Spider-Man, how he became Spider-Man, and those first 6 months of him being Spider-Man before he meets Iron Man. So a very cool way, in my opinion, to fill in a backstory that maybe we didn't need, but that'd be cool to know, you know? And there's been nods to an Uncle Ben, but he's never mentioned it in Uncle Ben. This might be the time we find out what happened to Uncle Ben. Maybe not. So Spider-Man freshman year was announced. And then the last thing that was announced that I didn't see coming, Marvel Zombies. Apparently, the episode of What If got enough traction, they're going to spin off an entire Marvel Zombies. I believe it's animated. Yep. And then yeah, it's going to be great.
There was talk of this when that episode came out. There was talk of this. I saw a couple like YouTube people, personalities, like, well, we've heard rumors of the you know me, I don't take as much stock in that as some people do, especially when it wasn't like a what I would consider reputable source.
Yeah. So well, it's happening now. It got the Marvel stamp.
It is happening now, and I'm kind of curious. So I'm curious if it's going to be kind of a take on the What If, like.
I think it's going to be a continuation. Yeah.
A continuation, or like a little bit of a prequel and then the continuation of it.
Yeah, maybe both. You know, flashback, flash forward. You know.
Yep.
Tell the story moving forward, including flashbacks to before.
Yes.
Kind of. I would imagine. Don't know. But anyway, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got the amazing Bill Chase coming on the show. He's going to talk to us about TV script writing and all about some projects he's got in the works. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. And if you got questions, anything about Bill, about TV writing, about script writing, about how to get into business, about stuff coming up, whatever you got for him, toss him in the chats. We'll ask him questions. And I mean, I love it when you guys engage. I love it. When you engage, it means the world to me. So with that, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, Bill Chase, say bye, Radar.
Bye, Radar. I'll see you.
All right, guys. We'll see you right after the break. Shots.
Do you ever online shopping and go, what the is this? We sell the animation cells you're seeing on the screen. What's an animation cell? Well, we all know digital animation is how you make cartoons these days. Animation used to be created by sequencing hand-painted celluloids. Literally thousands of these hand-painted cells would make up just minutes. To own one of these cells is owning a piece of the show and a piece of your childhood. Check out animationlegends.com today, because once these are gone, they're gone for good.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio. of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is Pop Culture Warrior, hour 2 of episode 80. My God, it's just flying by. I am super excited tonight to be joined by my guest. Man, I love this guy. I really do. Spoiler alert, I know him personally, and I just love him to death. But my guest tonight is a fantastic writer, producer, and TV show creator. You've seen his work featured on shows like The Mysteries of Laura, Unforgettable, Chicago Justice, Designated Survivor, Bull, Bluff City Law, and the upcoming TV movie Nash Bridges. He's also the creator of the hit series Franklin and Bash. Please, everyone in the audience, please give a huge Pop Culture Warrior welcome to our show's guest tonight, Bill Chase, everybody. Yay!
Well, it's good to be here with you, CQ. And yes, as you mentioned, you and I go back a ways, and I'm just thrilled to be here with you and thrilled to talk anything you want to talk about tonight.
Outstanding. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to have you on tonight. For the folks at home, the first question I always ask right out the gate is, what is your connection to the military at large?
Well, I have plenty of family members who have served, and especially on my wife's side, almost everyone in her family has served, and her father was in Vietnam. And but my personal strong connection with the military is how I've met just amazing people like you. There's something called Operation Mend, which is connected with something called Wounded Warrior, and it's all around the country. And in Los Angeles, what it does is it tries to reach out to people who have been both physically and emotionally and spiritually and psychologically hurt, wounded on the battlefield. And certainly your listeners know that you qualify in a very heroic way for that. And so when they come to UCLA, in our case, and they're having surgery or they're being treated in some way, they just need families to just take them out to dinner, walk them around town, take them to the beach, show them a good time. And my wife and I are so honored and so thrilled to be able to do that, not like to pat myself on the back, because I get so, it's such a cliche, but I get so much more out of it than whatever minor thing that I do. So I think about the military a lot, and I follow what's going on in this country a lot, and I follow what's going on with our soldiers, with our military around the world. But that's really my strong connection to the military.
All right. Outstanding. Which, by the way, in the comments, I already got one from somebody named Jenny. She says, "Hi, Bill."
I wonder who that might be.
That's Mrs. CQ there saying hi, because she's a big fan, obviously.
He's the best. CQ's son is the best. CQ's dog is insanely the best. And you can talk about some of the crazy tricks your dog does another time.
Yeah. No, we're here to celebrate you, man. Talk about all right. You. You know, and I really do. Real quick, I will. Huge shout out to Operation Men. It's an incredible organization. UCLA for having them, and they really do awesome work. I've had multiple surgeries and things out there, and then to amazing people like yourself and your wife and the other families that, really kind of undersold it, and it can be very scary, for someone to travel from wherever they're coming from around the country, to travel to be poked and prodded and go through surgeries and be there for weeks. At one point, I think I was there 3-4 weeks at a time, and you're not at home, you're not comfortable, you're not in your familiar environment. So to have a family like you step in and say, like, hey, let's go to dinner. Hey, do you want to go to the mall? Hey, do you want to go
to a Laker game?
Yeah, go to a Laker game. Whatever.
Right.
It is such an incredible thing, and you guys are so awesome for doing it. I honestly, I think the world of you and your wife, and of course, anytime I'm in LA, we absolutely get together because it's
it's
such a fun time. In fact, one of my favorite memories is you kind of took us to work with you, and we got to go, touring the backlot studios, and you showed us where The Voice was filmed, and at the time was it Superstore was filmed in one location, and to you it was just like, oh yeah, this is this thing and that's this, and I'm just in shock, like, because I'm a big TV nerd and movie nerd, as you can see in the background. So that was a dream come true. They're like, oh, do you want to go to the beach? Do you want to go to a Lakers game? I'm like, no, none of that stuff. Like, we're in LA, baby. You got the Hollywood sign and the Walk of Fame and backstage at the studios, like, dream come true. So actually, that kind of birthed this idea. So in a small way, I mean, you are responsible for this show.
I remember you sneaking out one night and going to do some stand-up comedy, and I was so happy.
Yes, I did as well. Yep, I got to see Kevin Smith and do his podcast. I got to see some comedy. There's oh man, it was such a great time. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And then of course, taking the time to be here tonight, man. It's awesome of you. I know it for people that don't get to see behind the scenes, like when you're dealing with actors and producers and directors, like there's a lot of back and forth. I mean, you got to get their PR people and their agents and their managers and their assistants and everything lined up, and it's weeks of effort to get someone. We were texting like 3 days ago. I'm like, hey, you want to come on the show? Yeah, let's do it. When do you want to do it? All right, Tuesday. All right, cool. And then here we are. So you're awesome. You are absolutely awesome. So, okay, enough blathering on. Take us. I have to tell people, because for those that watch, know this show, know me, know that I do deep dives on my guest. I go deep on my guest, and I scurry all across the dark webs to find all the information and the tidbits. And you, my friend, have almost no digital footprint. It's incredible. Like, I find your name associated with your work, and that's it. I think you were created in some type of LA Hollywood like laboratory, because no place of birth, no family reference, no social media, no nothing. So please tell me who you are, where you come from. Tell me a bit about yourself, your backstory.
Happy to do it. I'd like to say that my lack of a digital footprint is because I foresaw how evil certain aspects of social media are, in terms of algorithms that not help is the wrong word, that are harmful in terms of shaping our thinking and making us feel more apart and separate towards each other.
They facilitate it.
But yeah, that's a political discussion which we should avoid. But so without the social media, yeah, I grew up here in LA, and my first very brief career was as a musician, which I very quickly learned, like, I didn't have what that took. And then my second career was being a lawyer, and specifically being a public defender for people who were charged with crimes and couldn't afford lawyers. And that was a successful career. And it was great. And it ended up being really, really great in terms of what I do now, because I was getting a little burnt out on being a criminal defense lawyer. As you can imagine, you deal with you deal with violence and loss and pain, and it can be tough. And I was thinking about getting out, and a friend of a friend was starting a TV show and said, hey, you're a lawyer. Do you want to come work on this law show? Just be like the guy who tells us the technical aspect of objection, Your Honor, and all the kind of courtroom stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds kind of cool. And after 2 weeks, they were just like, well, do you want to just stay and be a writer on this show? And I'm like, yes, I do. And when I tell that story to my fellow writers, because it's not easy to be a working writer, they want to kill me. But knock on wood, I got lucky. I was in the right place at the right time, but I've made the most of it. And you mentioned some of the shows that I've been on, and I've been very lucky to create a couple of shows, and we'll talk in a little bit about some of the stuff that I'm up to now. But I've done everything from helping someone just as like a grunt for their show, writing a script here and there, to being like the number 2 person who's helping the showrunner create the show, to my favorite thing, which is actually creating the show and running the show myself. And I know the story that I told makes it sound like it's easy and you just wake up one day and say, I think I'll be a writer. It's hard. And it's been hard for me. Just one quick story, and then I'll.
No, go for it, man. This is your time.
But so I had my first job, and it was so easy. And then I said, so what do I do now? And someone was like, well, you write a pilot. You write your own show. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I sat down, I wrote a show. It was the first show that the studio, which was Fox, ordered. It was the first show that the network, which was also Fox, ordered to have shot. And it was the first show to be ordered to be on the air. So I'm like, oh, this is easy. You just write a show and it gets on television. It got canceled after 2 episodes because no one watched it. And then I realized, oh, this is hard. This is really hard work.
And that was Head Cases in 2005?
Yes, it was. Look at you.
Yeah, told you I do my research. But continue.
And so that got canceled, and that was a little bit of like a kind of crash to earth, like reality check. And then I just got back on the horse, and I started working on a bunch of other shows, and it became difficult for me, because it is difficult for everybody, to get another show on the air. And then 6 years later, maybe, after working on a bunch of other shows, I wrote another pilot with a friend of mine. And obviously, like anything else in life, the dream is to work with friends that you like and trust. And the longer I last in this career, the more I realize that's sort of all that matters, because I've worked for people who were not my friend, and that's no fun. But then we created this other show, and that ran for 4 years. And that was the show that you mentioned called Franklin and Bash. And that's kind of the kind of stuff that I like to write. Like, I don't like to write, like I've worked on like a Dick Wolf Law and Order type show, and I have great admiration for those kinds of shows, but that's not what I like. I like things that are a little more fun, a little more goofy, hopefully isn't exactly the word, but you know what I mean.
True to life. I think it's true to life, because very few people are this two-dimensional, serious, stern person all the time. We all intersect comedy and humor into our daily lives. It only makes sense. I hate to think like I liked Franklin and Bash, and I hate to think of it as like, oh, it's that comedy show, but it's like, it's more human, in my opinion.
I appreciate that, and I agree. Yeah, so that ran for 4 seasons, and I continued to work on shows during that whole period, and continued to work on shows after. And just very quickly to run you through what's been going on the last year or so, because I do have a plug for what I want your listeners to watch.
Absolutely.
And I just in the last year, I worked on my first comedy show, which I've never worked on a comedy show. I've always been the funny drama guy. And so there's a show, this isn't the plug, although I'll plug this too, that's going to be on NBC, I think in like March. It's called American Auto. And it's a real funny show. And I look forward to people watching that. But the thing that I'm really excited about is I got to do a reboot, and I think you mentioned it in your introduction of me, of a show from the 90s. Mm-hmm. That was a kick-ass show then, and honestly, it's a kick-ass show now. And it's a reboot of the show Nash Bridges with Don Johnson. And initially, I wasn't interested, but then I met with Don Johnson, and he told me that he wanted to be in on it, in the show, that it wasn't just like getting some young, good-looking guy to play Don Johnson, because I'm not interested in that, because he's this iconic actor and this iconic guy. And so we ended up making a 2-hour movie, which will also serve as, and maybe I should explain for your listeners what a pilot means is they'll let you shoot, they'll pay you, not you, but they'll pay a lot of money to shoot an hour show. And in our case, for Nash Bridges, a 2-hour show. And based on how that turns out, that's your pilot. Based on how that turns out, they'll decide, oh, either this show's good enough, let's make 15 more of these, or, good try, but we're not going to do it.
Right.
So this Nash Bridges thing, since we did it as a 2-hour movie, it's going to air for sure. And our hope is they'll either let us make more episodes of it, or we'll make more 2-hour movies. And it's going to be on USA Network. I would really want your listeners to watch this on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, November 27th at 9 o'clock on USA. And it just turned out great. And it's really, really fun. And just thinking about your listeners and the sort of military thinking that goes into this show, like it's really relatable. It's really relatable that way. It's initially and first and foremost, it's just fun and funny and exciting and scary and a mystery. But it also slightly makes a point, which is the world's changing. And some people feel like you need to change with it. And you kind of do, but you kind of don't. And the idea is that we all have something to learn from each other. Like old people or people who think a certain way shouldn't be told your time and your day is over. But young people should be listened to too. So we make that point, but really it's just a super fun, exciting adventure cop buddy show.
Yeah. And you got Cheech Marin in there too, right?
Yeah, he's a big hero. He's a big hero of mine. I'm old enough that I came up, and I hope your listeners, if they don't know Cheech and Chong's work, need to check out the movie Up in Smoke.
Up in Smoke,
and need to check out some of their early records like Bamboo. And it was just a trip, man. It was just a trip working with Cheech.
I can't imagine. And you know, there's so much to unpack. You gave me so many gems there. I'm gonna try to unpack it all.
I'm gonna shut up now. You tell.
No, this is again, for those that don't know, because me and Bill know each other so well, I've never seen Bill talk so much ever, and I love it. That's the point of this. I want to, because you're always so sweet, and you're always asking me questions. We got on the call. The first thing you do, how's your wife? How's the kid? How's it? All about me. And like, no, I'm turning the tables. This is about you. So I want to hear it. I love hearing it. And you can tell your passion for the work. It comes through very apparent and very clearly. Okay, so let's start with Nash Bridges then. Let's unpack that. Did this come about? Because I feel like we're in a time where there's a very heavy nostalgia for the past. We're seeing the reboots, the sequel, Fuller House and Girl Meets World, and what's it? The Disney Plus just did Turner and Hooch, like the further along story.
Saved by the Bell.
Yes, exactly. Saved by the Bell, and so all these shows. Do you think? And I know this. You gotta try not to be biased because you worked on this one, but are you worried that there could be a saturation point of like, oh, there's just too much. There's too much. Or do you think that this is a time that would benefit from learning, like you said, kind of the stories from the past? I'm kind of leading the question, but go ahead.
No, it's a good question. And I had trepidation about doing it, but because we did it the way that we did it, because Don Johnson had this vision, and he and I immediately got along really well, and we drove each other crazy plenty too. And the whole process has taken 2 years, but because we didn't want to just make like a reboot, like I said, like Hot Young Guy, we wanted to make it about what happens when you're 45 and you're ruling the world and you know exactly what you're doing and you know how to deal with women in your mind and everything like that. And then you wake up, it's 20 years later and it's a whole different world. Like, that's why I don't think we have to worry about the saturation, because in a weird way, it's not a reboot. It's a reconception of the show. And listen, who knows? If no one watches it, I'll call you back and I'll say you were right. It was a saturation.
We hit that point. No, I think it's a great idea. I read up a little bit about it in the synopsis and what it is, and it makes sense. It makes sense to me. Are there, and I know you can't spoil the show or anything like that, but are there kind of references, or does the character have to kind of come across that, like the Me Too movement, the cancel culture, anything like that? Because obviously he's from a different time.
A little bit. And, I always quote my favorite philosopher, who's Mary Poppins, from the movie Mary Poppins, who said just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, right? So anytime that it felt like we were getting heavy-handed and it wasn't fun, we were like, stop. We can't, this is not the way we want to tell a story. So there won't be any like super serious, somber moments of like, I realized I was wrong, or I realized you were wrong. Like, it's just like he's paired up with like a millennial snowflake guy who's never pulled his gun before. And like they kind of look at each other like, you're insane. The only spoiler I'll say is they not only do they argue, they literally fight at one point during the show physically. But the short answer is yes. Yes, we do touch on these issues that you're asking about, but not in a way that you would ever feel like you're being preached to. Ever.
Okay. And I mean, that's a good thing. That's obviously a good thing. Right. Well,
last thing I'll say about that, and we don't take a position. It's not like we're saying like the Me Too movement is all right or the Me Too movement goes too far. We're not taking a position for the most part.
Right. No, that makes sense. It's just you can address something without making a whole political stance on it. I mean, it's you want to open yourself to the conversation, right? Be a part of it. No, that's excellent. We have a comment from Max-a-Lot. He says that Designated Survivor has been one of his favorite shows. That he really misses that show. Anything you could tell us about your time with them?
Well, I will be honest about this. So I thought the first season, and maybe your listener can comment after I'm done talking about this. I didn't watch the third season. The third season, they moved it to Netflix. The first season was excellent. It was so good. I wasn't on the show that season. The second season was the season that I was on the show, and I felt creatively it wasn't as strong. I felt that they tried to make it into West Wing when it really wanted to be a super suspenseful thriller, and I tried to steer it a little bit in the direction that I thought it should have gone, but there were people with strong opinions, and I was not running the show. I was the number 2 person on that show. And it's just a matter of taste. I mean, some people probably love it. Maybe your listener will chime back in, but it was a blast working on that show. And Kiefer Sutherland is not an easy guy to work with and is a total consummate professional as well, and a good musician.
Excellent. Actually, yeah, he I think he echoed your comments almost to the T. First season magical, second was good, third it kind of dropped off. Another person jumped in and also said,
I heard the third it got and again now I'm having a conversation with your listener, but like I heard that the third season that it was like, since it was on Netflix, it was like super like sexual and like went kind of went to a crazy place, but I haven't watched it, I have to be honest.
No, hey, that's okay. Yeah, and so I'm curious. I'm gonna take the reins back. When I saw, because in doing my research, I did see that you were working on American Auto and that it's a comedy. It did kind of like you said. It stood out to me because I know you well enough to know your background and to know the kind of stuff you write, and to go straight. That must have been creatively. I would imagine that was a big change for you. I mean, how did you go about preparing yourself to go straight comedy?
Well, there was really no preparation. I just kind of got thrown in, and listen, I don't have to tell you. Life throws you curveballs, right? Like you think you're on one path and then you find yourself on another, and it was pretty intimidating actually, because it's such a different muscle to use to be a comedy writer, as you know, than to be like a drama writer, even a funny drama writer. So there were people on that show that could like fire out 20 jokes a minute, and like 15 of them were really funny. So I kind of realized that I could either try to hang with them, which I honestly couldn't, or just recognize that I was there for a different purpose. And so it was just a great education. And I've been doing this for over 20 years now, being a writer. And it was cool to do something totally new that took me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, that you were the straight man in the room, right? Like you get the super creative, fast paced, almost like improv guys, and then it's like, all right, cool. Now I'm gonna write some dialogue that makes sense, in between the jokes.
Yeah, they did say they relied on me, and of course I fell right into a trap, which was not a good idea for me. The guy who ran the show said, "Look, don't worry about the joke stuff. Like, I brought you on because you understand story and structure and character. You don't have to be as funny as those people." So all I heard was, "I have to be as funny as these people." And I'm like, "You watch me. I'm going to throw out some jokes, and they're going to be just as good as them." Not so much. Not so much, it turned out. So once I realized my role, it got easier.
Yeah. Hey, if you need another comedy guy, just let me know. Slide me in. My agent will talk to your. We'll do lunch. But no, that's so cool. Which, by the way, at some point, you do owe me throwing my name in a show. That was promised. I'm gonna hold you to it.
I'm writing a show right now. I have a show for ABC. You're in it. You're gonna be in it. And now I just got to get it shot and get it on the air. For sure.
I'll take a background. Was it a behind the scenes photo? I'll be happy. I'm easy to please. But that's so awesome. You gotta give us the exclusive, man. We wanna support you, and I'll make sure that like I'm constantly posting too about Nash Bridges and American my brain American Auto. Jesus. As they're coming out, because I'm excited for them. I'm excited to see your work.
Wait, can I ask you a couple of questions?
Go for it.
So I know what the thrust of your show is, and I want to know this. So first of all, you've seen Eternals, right?
Of course.
And I haven't. I'm not a superhero guy, but I'm a kind of genre guy. And you know that I'm going to brag here, that on that show Franklin and Bash, that Kumail Nanjiani, I gave him one of his very, very first acting roles, and he stayed with us for 3 of the 4 years. How is he in the movie?
He is.
Be honest.
No, I will be. I try. Although I'm a super fan, I do try to kind of hold on to the reins of just logical, sense. He is definitely the funniest person in the movie, by far. I feel he's underutilized as an actor. I watched him in Silicon Valley, and I loved him in Silicon Valley. I think he's an incredible actor. I've watched his stand-up. I think he's super funny. The problem was in the Eternals team, there are 10 Eternals. Then you have all the humans around them. Then you have all the Celestials above them. There's just so much.
Too much to follow.
It's so much, and the movie's almost like 3 hours. Like, it's crazy long, and it still feels like nobody gets too much screen time, which is a good thing. And also, like, when you've got Salma Hayek and Angelina Jolie and Kumail Nanjiani, and it's like nobody gets a lot of screen time.
Right.
But
the idea is that you give them so much, and that in success they get their own movies or something.
Right.
Like
there's definitely there were seeds planted for, like, okay, these guys might go that way and these guys might go that way. So yeah, I'm sure there's going to be much more for him down the line.
And I imagine you've watched Squid Game and maybe even talked about it on this show.
Anything that is trending, I've probably seen. So yes,
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, that whole thing. Again, I loved it. I think it's great, but like I think too many kids are watching it, and that scares me because you hear, like, I hear on the news when they're like, school shuts down because at recess the kids are doing Squid Game, and it's like, why? Like, the kids dressing up as the characters for the Halloween. I'm like, all right, cool. We're just gonna accept that children are psychopaths now, I guess. I don't know. I have a 4-year-old. I don't want that.
I did like the show, though.
Yeah, it is a great show. Very good show. I love that more people of color are getting representation mainstream. I love that different backgrounds, because like some people hated on Eternals, especially because of like there's LGBTQ T representation, and there's I don't know, like I don't get it. Like more people should be represented. We are a multicultural. Maybe it's the military in me, because I've served in other countries and I've been around the world, and I'm used to serving hand in hand with people of all colors and nationalities and religions and races and whatever. I think inclusivity is only a good thing. I definitely, I don't agree. Yeah, I don't agree. Don't make it.
Kumail interviewed, and he just said like he's so proud that this movie looks like the world, and I'm like, yep,
exactly.
Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. The fact that Shang-Chi was such a huge success, first major action, Asian superhero, awesome, outstanding. Why not? I think we have plenty of white, straight, blonde hair superheroes. I think we're good. I think,
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
Sorry. Now you got me going on my whole soapbox. This is not about me. Back to you, man. See, you're so good. You're so good. You get me talking. You've done so much. You really, and you've done show, like, this isn't a filmography that says like, well, I did this unseen thing and I did this other unseen thing, and like, Bluff City Law, Bull, Designated Survivor, Chicago Justice, Unforgettable, Mysteries of Laura. Like, these are all things that like have huge fan bases. They have huge, there's lots of eyes on it. I mean, like, do you ever like think back and go like, wow, I've been on a lot of big shows? Like, does that ever hit you at all?
Some bigger than another. Some bigger than others. Plenty of them. There weren't enough eyeballs on it because they came and went. But yeah, I do reflect that. You know what I reflect more on, actually, CQ, is when I'm on the set of a show that I've created. Like, let's say I wrote a scene in a show of you and me talking on this podcast. Like, then when you go to the set and you see there's a guy playing CQ and there's a guy playing me and there's 100 people on the crew that are making it happen. And you're like, this all happened because I was sitting at my laptop and I wrote a scene of television. And by writing this thing, I have created 200 jobs. I feel such a sense of meaning to that than I do that I've been on a show that a bunch of people watched. Like, there's no, well, I was about to say there's no community as strong as the crew that you work with on a TV show, but obviously you could tell me that I'm wrong.
It's similar. It's a team. You got each other's back.
To use a military analogy that's probably overused, you really do feel like you're in a foxhole. You really feel bonded with these people, and you feel like you've been through something with them. And that's honestly the joy that I get. And I hope that doesn't sound sappy, but it's actually really true.
I mean, I think it's incredibly sappy, but I in the best way possible, because I get it. I absolutely get it. I've been asked, like, oh, any day now, your show's going to be like the Joe, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be this millions of people watch. And I'm like, I don't care. I really don't. If 10 people watch, if one person, if it's my wife just sitting in bed watching, like, I do this because I enjoy it, and I enjoy connecting with people and whoever I'm talking to on the other side, and when the audience gets in, and like we do all types of silly stuff. We play games and
right,
all this stuff, and that's what's fun to me. I don't get.
You know what else is fun? And tell me if you agree or disagree about this.
Right.
And this is going to sound crazy, but if you had shows that just everything went to shit, like everything went wrong, that's when you feel alive, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's not exactly fun, but when you feel like your hair's on fire, and like, if you don't make a decision right now, everything is just terrible.
Yeah.
The danger of what you do and what I do is interesting to me too.
I laugh because I think the first 8 episodes I did, it was tune in to see what goes wrong.
Right.
I mean, the microphone cord would get. I'd be talking for 10 minutes. No one heard anything. Music, I couldn't stop music from playing the whole time. Like, just every episode, there were tech goblins just ruining everything. And we just kind of leaned into it. The craziness of it.
Not to take it back to your military training and your career, but like what you've been through, you're ready. Like you're ready for anything that's going to get thrown your way, right?
Yeah, because it's not life or death. Too many people take life. Oh, my boss is mad at me, and it's like it's life and death. Like it's not. Even if you get fired, like okay, you can get another job. Like I hate to say it, but for those of us that have been in combat, it's a real life and death. When there's bullets flying by you, okay, that's serious. But then everything else just seems.
And not to prop you up, because I'd rather actually knock you down, but I'll prop you up for a second. But I hope your listeners know, and I'm sure you've talked about it in all the times you've been on, that like your battlefield stories, and in particular your battlefield story that brought you to where you are today, is nothing short of amazing and heroic. And you know, I feel quite honored to know you.
I appreciate that.
And that's the last nice thing I'm going to say.
Good, thank you. I feel weird when I'm used to people ragging on me, and the audience loves to give me crap, so I'm used to it. No, I actually not too long ago, for the anniversary of when I got injured, it happened to fall on a day that I had a show scheduled, and so I literally did a 1 hour where I just basically told the whole story from start to finish. So it exists out there. If anybody wants to go back and watch the story of how CQ became this version of CQ, yes, Max is.
One detail from your story that I know you love telling.
Okay.
And you just all braggy when you tell it. Is it not true that your biceps were so fucking big you took a bicep, and if you weren't so strong, you would have been dead? You love to brag about how big your biceps were.
I mean, I don't think publicly, but I mean, it's true. I mean, so the truth is, I had a bullet shoot, I mean, straight into the bicep, like at the thickest part of it, and I was shot with armor-piercing rounds, AK-47, 7.62 armor-piercing rounds that should have went straight through my arm, just clean through, blew my arm off. Probably would have died because you get your arm blown off, you're gonna bleed out pretty quick. But it went in, and yes, my muscles were so thick that it slowed it down enough that when it hit the bone, it completely shattered the bone, but the bullet never came out, never made it through all the way. And a doctor did tell me that, because, since muscle's so dense, had I not been, not only was I swole, but I was dragging a guy at the time. So like my biceps were bulging and hard from, contracting. Right. So that saved my arm and possibly my life. The fact that, yes, I mean, I was in the infantry. All we did was work out, go out, like, and shoot people. Like that was it. That was the gist of my job, was get strong. And then I jumped out of planes too. But other than that, but yeah, you got me there. I do. I don't know if I love that part of the story, but I do find it amusing. I do.
No, it's good. It's a good part of the story for sure.
Oh man.
Sorry, the story is incredible.
You got me all flustered here, man. I'm totally off my element. You're interviewing me at this point.
All right, let's bring it back.
I love it. I mean, I've never been on. You're the first guest to have me on like my back footing, so you're doing a great job. I'm sure the audience is going to want like a part 2 to this so that we could talk to you about you.
Anytime.
Heath in the chat says, you didn't burn poo? Yes, I did burn poo. That we don't talk about that. That was,
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
So, all right, quick story. In combat, for whatever reason, I don't know, but you poop into like an outhouse that has or use the bathroom, I should say, in an outhouse that has a bin. You would think you just dig a hole and cover it, but apparently that's a no-no. And so it was a barrel, and then at some point it would be somebody's job to drag that barrel out, pour not gas, not diesel, but basically what's JP8, which is like rocket fuel, and then light it on fire and burn it.
See, that story's not as good as the bicep story.
Exactly. And it gets worse because you can't just pour and burn and leave it, because then the top just gets a crust and you've got everything underneath. So you have to stir while it's burning in basically what is a poop stew, I guess. It's not a fun job, and basically the smell permeates every fiber of your being. No shower will make it go away. It just, like, you have to shed that part of your skin for it to go away. So it takes nobody will sit near you for about a week after you do it. Yeah, it's not in the brochures, believe it or not, when you sign up for the military. Not one that's mentioned, those duties that they love to list. So yeah, things you learn. You know, these are the stories, the untold stories. So you kind of did mention it, and I was gonna try to surprise you that I was able to dig it up, but that you're developing that legal drama for ABC. And you know, it's like I was hoping to kind of draw a little bit out from you about it and what we could kind of expect for that show.
Sure. I'll tell you kind of tonally what it is before I tell you what the idea is, because it's based on a true story, very loosely based on a true story. The tone that we wanted to go for, there is a legal component to it. There's also a political component to it. I'm writing it with a friend of mine, whose mother is a congresswoman, actually, in Pennsylvania, and he's great and she's great. And what we're going for is just, like, again, a fun and funny, and in this case, romantic, sort of like I love you, I hate you, if you remember the show Moonlighting kind of vibe, between two people who kind of converge, one of whom, like me, is a former public defender, is a current public defender in the story, and one of whom is the governor of the state of North Carolina. And we chose North Carolina really specifically because we wanted it to be, it's easy to make fun of people in a blue state, and it's easy to make fun of people in a red state. We wanted, it's kind of like what you were saying about the Eternals, we wanted to make it in a place where people with different backgrounds and different belief systems all kind of meet and fought and still somehow got along. But I'll really quickly tell you that the real story that it's based on is the governor, I believe it was of Iowa, about 10 years ago, was just slashing the shit out of the budget for public defenders' offices, which is a really important thing because people need to be represented if they can't afford a lawyer. And this very kind of publicity-minded public defender found this old law that said during times of emergency, you can appoint anyone to be a lawyer on a case. And in this real life case, he appointed the governor, the very governor that was slashing his budget, appointed him to be an emergency lawyer for the public defender's office. In the real life story, the governor kind of pushed it aside as the publicity stunt that it was. On our show, we have a female governor who's dealing with her own scandals and her own stuff going on in her life, and actually calls this guy on his bluff and says, okay, you want me to do this? I'll do it. And the story becomes about them working together. And it's still really early on. I was actually writing a scene just before I came onto your podcast. And there's a lot to go through before, unlike with the Nash Bridges, where I said, watch it on Saturday night. We got to write the script. We got to convince someone to let us shoot it. And then we got to convince someone to let us put it on television. But I'm pretty excited about it. And it does not have a name yet. So if any of your listeners come up with a name, I'll credit them with that.
We're gonna start a naming competition. We'll get it going. At least start fastballing you some suggestions and ideas. All right, let's do I'm gonna do like kind of like a speed round, but just some random questions. So you talked about, you did the thing musically, and then you went into the law game, and then you've been writing for the last however many years. If not any of those things, what would you be doing right now?
I'd be an oyster farmer. I've always wanted to be an oyster farmer, and I bet none of your guests have ever said that.
That is a first. That is a first. What is it about oyster farming that gets you?
Honestly, this is the least sophisticated answer I can give. I fucking love oysters. I love them, and I've been to some oyster farms, and just the idea of like putting on those waders and getting in the muck and just creating delicious oysters. By the way, there's 0% chance I'll ever do it, but you asked me what my dream was, and that's what it is.
Hey, man, to each his own. To each his own. I got to get you down towards like Maryland. We go into the little swamps and do the shucking and all that stuff. Oh yeah. I'll show you a good time.
Chesapeake Bay has some really good oysters.
Oh yeah. My wife is a huge oyster lover, so you're speaking our language. So yeah, we got to get you down here and or over here, and we'll take you out. So speaking on writing and writing for TV and writing for shows, I mean, I think you've kind of touched on what you love about it, but what is it that is that take it or leave it? What's that leave it? What's that? This is the part I hate about the job.
Getting notes from studios and networks. Like, I just know that when I write something, it's perfect. So if anyone tells me, and unfortunately they're in a position of power, so I have to listen sometimes. But I sometimes hate I hate rewriting is the shortest answer.
Okay.
No, it's necessary.
Fair enough. I mean, I get you. We are the 2-time consecutive nominated Best in Entertainment podcast. I still think we should have won both times, but apparently we have room to grow and we have room to get better.
I feel it.
Third time's the charm. We'll see. Right. Interviews like this, how could we not? Right. Okay. What are qualities that you admire about your favorite show writers?
That's a good question. My favorite part about writing is being around other writers, actually. I admire writers who are the collaborative quality of being a writer. But sometimes I admire the sort of dictatorial thing that a writer has, where it's like, okay, I've listened to everybody in the room. Here's how we're going to do it. There needs to be, again, with the military, right? Although probably not actually, because the military is very sort of regimented, but like at a certain point, someone has to make the call. And I've been lucky to work with writers who are somehow both, because I know those two things sound slightly antithetical to each other. So I guess the short answer is like, I like writers that have a strong vision, but I also like writers who listen.
They're very composing. It's two sides of the same coin, right? They're facing opposite when you think about it, but you got to know when to do one and when to do the other.
Exactly.
Very nice. Very nice. I love to ask people a question, especially people who've been in the game for so long, how prevalent social media has become to the industry, and how no matter how like successful you are as an actor or a writer or whatever, like you almost have to have this front-facing social media presence to really be famous, whatever it is, to really be noteworthy. You have to have that. And typically I ask that of a guest because, they have a social media following.
Right.
You've found a way to not need that.
Well, I'm going to answer by telling you about what one of my closest friends and how social media 100% saved his show. Have you watched a show? It seems like your kind of show, called Manifest. Do you know the show Manifest?
Absolutely Manifest. Love it.
Creator of that show is a friend of mine. His name is Jeff Rake, and he's great. We karaoke together. We're pretty nerdy about it. But anyhow, his show was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
and he was really sad that his show was canceled. He felt that he didn't have a chance to tell the story that he wanted to tell. He took it straight to the people. He took it straight to social media, and he begged and pleaded and got the actors on his show to join in his effort. And he single-handedly got a canceled show uncanceled. And now he's getting 2 more seasons of it on Netflix. And it is totally because with social media, you can speak directly to your viewers.
Mm-hmm.
And not only can it save your show, but you can get a strong sense, oh, they're not digging this. They wish we had more of that. And you can course correct. So I consider social media to be the absolute democratization of content, not always for the better, but I think largely for the better.
I think that's a great answer. I'm sitting here processing. I like that. I like that answer. I do.
Good. I finally got one.
Yeah. I'm like, huh. I've never thought of it that. I mean, it's not always successful because I've seen it where it's like save our show and nothing happens. It's like, I guess it wasn't savable. But you know,
really reach a point of critical mass. He wasn't just some guy howling into the wind. It kept growing and growing. So it does take that.
Yeah. I'm curious too, because I guess, okay, from just average viewer, I love a show, it gets canceled, or it. Sometimes you hear stories about like, wow, the views were there, the people were watching it, and you see this petitions for 100,000 people signed petition. Is it about the money for the studio? I mean, where's the line, I guess, is my question. Like,
it would drive you crazy if you, and I don't quite understand why, but I have some understanding, the randomness sometimes of it. Business is a huge part of it. Shows get pre-sold into Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, and they make so much money even though no one watches them. And other shows that have more people watching them don't make the same kind of money. And sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's like, oh, we want a cop show for 9 o'clock on Thursday night, and we want this actor and this producer to do it. And so even though your show's doing fine, we're done with you. Like, there's just no loyalty, or there's not much loyalty. There's just a lot of random decisions that go, or like, honestly, like the head of a studio or network wakes up one day and says, like, I'm sick of this show. Like, it just happens.
Man, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I can't imagine where it's like, oh yeah, it's a hit with the fans, or oh yeah, the critics love it, or oh yeah, we're bringing in X amount of views / streams / downloads / whatever, and it's just like, we're not gonna do a second season or whatever it is. And I was like,
well, I'll tell you another reason why it's done, and I have, and I'm not gonna say you've looked through my credits, you might be able to figure a couple of them out, you might not. I've worked with 3 actors who are monsters. Okay. And not so much monsters to the writers and the directors and the crew, that too. But like, it's a quality of life for the network people. Like, if every day you're hearing about this show is a disaster and this guy keeps complaining and he's fired these people and he's going to get fired himself, and she, because one of the 3 people is a she, is just a fucking monster. Like, it's sometimes just sort of falls under the heading of life's too short and let's just get rid of this. I'm sympathetic to that one, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine if you're a show creator, you've poured your blood, sweat, and tears, everything you have into bringing this show to life, and it falls apart, not because it wasn't a great show or not because it was great writing, but maybe because of attitudes or egos, or like you said, maybe somebody in the studio just doesn't like it.
Lines is when an actor, if it's a show that you've created, an actor comes up to you and says, yeah, I don't think my character would say that. And I'm like, you mean the character that I created and hired you to play? By the way, I love actors. I don't want to see
I'll make sure that all the actors know you hate working with them and they're the worst. If you could do a show without them, you would totally do it. So I have one question that came in. It says, has he ever changed what he wanted to do because of who was there? So like find out that you're acting, writing, directing for a certain person, or change the plan based on who it is. That makes sense?
I think so, but I'm not sure. Like if we hire an actor and then it turns out the actor's no good or something like that, or if we change our mind and...
Right. I'm thinking, okay, so the way I'm interpreting this is you have a plan and the character is going to behave this certain way. You bring on this actor, maybe you didn't expect this actor would take the part, and you realize, oh, because of who it is, we're going to change the way he talks or things like that.
Since I've been negative, I want to be positive about an actor. And we mentioned him earlier, and it's Kumail Nanjiani. So when Kumail was on our show, I don't know if you've watched any of his stand-up stuff on YouTube or whatever. I think he's fantastic. And he was very unknown at the time. And as an actor, he was just learning. And we would shoot a scene, and at the end he would say, really respectfully, just a great guy, he would say, look, I hope it's okay. I've written a couple of alternatives to the lines that you said, and I'll give it to you your way, but maybe when we're done, if it would be okay if I could try to say these lines instead. 99.9% of the time, it was better than what we had written.
Wow.
And none of us had an ego about it. We were all like, yes, we're going to do it your way. Now, some actors think they're funny and they're not, and they want to improvise and it wrecks things. But with someone like Kumail, and especially since he's so respectful of what's on the page, so you're always, sometimes you're happy to be surprised. And I don't know if that's exactly what you're
I think so.
asking.
Yeah, there's Jim, and he's saying yes, so I'm guessing we nailed it. So yeah, because I would imagine, and especially again, I try to put that hat on if I'm there, I'm the writer or the director, whatever, and it's like, okay, let's do it the way it's written. Let's do it the way we've spent months planning to do it, and then if you got something, like, let's figure it out afterwards. You know, once we got what we want, let's try something.
Yeah, that's great. And the bad version of that happens all the time is, now I will dump on actors again, is when an actor's had the script for a week and a half and they show up, the cameras are set in a certain place, the director has a certain plan of how the scene should be shot, and the actor says, this is stupid, I'm not going to say it, I'm going to do this, and I know you want me to walk in this door, but I'm going to walk in that door. And it's like, you've had the script for a fucking week, like, you can't do that, but of course they can.
I love it. Okay, I've done this long enough, and I it's just a generalization, but I think I have a large enough sample size that actors will be very political in the sense of, like, you know, it was great. Sometimes there's challenges, but we worked through it. Directors will be very careful. Writers, on the other hand, will say exactly how they feel, and I absolutely love it. I love it.
At a certain point, this turned into a therapy session for me. You could probably see that.
I love it. Oh my God, I can't get enough of it. I really do. To get to somebody's question, and I guess this has to do with, we were talking about, you know, shows getting canceled and you know, for different reasons. The question is, how have shows like NCIS stayed alive so long? Like, what is it that they're doing that works?
Well, I've worked on some CBS shows. You mentioned a show called Bull. And, like, honestly, there's a formula to shows like that. And we joke that, like, with shows like that, the reason that they're successful is because the people who watch it are too old to change the channel, or they fall asleep halfway through. Not to be ageist, I'm getting too old myself. But CBS has kind of figured it out. Like, if you want to watch a show like NCIS, every episode will be roughly the same. And I say that not negatively, right? Like I think Law & Order is actually a great show because they know exactly what their viewers want. And that's how I think shows like that stay on the air.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to watch Squid Game, you know?
That's right. You know what you are, you know what your audience wants, and you just deliver that. We don't got to rock the boat. You know, Marvel is people accuse them of being very the Marvel formula, right? This, which I think post Avengers Endgame, they've been trying to kind of stretch the limits of their formula and try different things. So that's cool. Okay. Jim's coming at you with the hardball.
All right, Jim.
Who was the worst actor? Are we allowed to ask that? Who is the worst actor you worked with? That's on you. I won't force the question.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe name maybe just a show name, or
I mean, that'll kind of give it away, right? No, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to name an actor who was a monster to everyone, but was a total sweetheart to me.
Okay.
So do you know who the actor James Woods is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So great actor, great actor. Crazy, volatile.
He has a history. He has a
and could be really, really difficult. And I sort of developed this skill set. And I won't comment on the other two actors, but I guess I'll just tell you the other two shows where it was very challenging. One of them was Designated Survivor, which we mentioned, and one of them was a show called Unforgettable, which is ironic because no one can remember it. But those were really challenging. But for Jimmy Woods, like, it was weird because I would watch him behave really, really badly. Oh, what I was trying to say is I developed this weird niche because I'm nice, right? Like, I would be the guy that would be brought on to be the sort of whisperer for the tough actors. And Jimmy was the first one. And I would just watch him be like a total asshole. But he was so nice to me. And I would say, Jimmy, like, why do you talk to people like that? Like, why are you doing this? And he kind of laughed and kind of acknowledged that he was crazy. But actors are, they become actors for a reason. There's a certain personality type.
You have to be wired a certain way, for sure.
Yeah. So that's as far as I'll go with that one.
I appreciate you taking a stab at it. We're not trying to end careers here. Then who I have to talk to. Okay, you kind of mentioned that, we're at an hour. We've done more than an hour.
No. We can start a slow wrap up now.
Okay.
I got a little bit of stuff I got to do, but I'm happy to be with you.
Oh man, you're the best, man. A couple more questions. We'll give you some lobs. We'll do a couple plugs, and we'll wrap it up, man. You mentioned Cheech Marin. I'm curious, has there been a moment that you've been just starstruck, working with someone?
I wasn't starstruck working with someone, but I was starstruck. This is not a Hollywood story, but it sort of is. When my eldest daughter was really young, we had a carpool, and we went to kind of a fancy school here in LA. And one of the people in the carpool that I went to pick up one morning was the stepdaughter of the actress Halle Berry. And Halle Berry came out and dropped her off in a bathrobe. And you know how you hear that expression, like you're breathless, like it takes your breath away? I literally couldn't breathe because she was so, not only beautiful, obviously she's extraordinarily beautiful, but had that, there was a glow. You can tell 20 years later, I'm still feeling it. There was this glow coming off Halle Berry. But I've been lucky to work with actors. Like on my show, I was slightly starstruck by Malcolm McDowell, who's this just fantastic, legendary actor. And Clockwork Orange was a huge movie for me. So you get a little I was starstruck by Don Johnson. How could you not be?
Oh, very good. One last question from the audience. Who would be your absolute top person to work with? The person you haven't worked with yet that would be the dream, to work with that person.
Well, it's actually not an actor. and it's actually not a writer. It's a couple of directors. I'm obsessed with the director Wes Anderson. Like everything he does just blows me away. And although they're unrelated, I'm obsessed with another director named Paul Thomas Anderson. So I haven't really thought about it. Like if I thought about it, and I'll get back to it, like, there's no actors that I'm like, I gotta work. Like it would be such a treat to work with that one. Probably some rock and roll musicians would be fun to work with. That would be good.
There you go. You got to figure out. You got to write them into the script somehow. You got to work. You got to work them in there.
Exactly.
My own personal question: is there a? I guess maybe it's just me, but that kind of self-fulfillment where it's like, man, I've never been to Japan. Let's write a scene where we go to Japan, and it's like I just made that happen. Has there ever been any kind of wish fulfillment that way?
Well, not to keep mentioning Nash Bridges, but I'm being a good advocate for the show right now.
Sure.
But it's actually true. Like a lot of the work, and you've mentioned my credits, they're scenes of lawyers in courtrooms, of people being funny in a living room or whatever. Like I don't get to write like someone having a huge shootout and a big oil tanker blows up 2 city blocks. Like that's not what you call Bill Chase for. And I got to do that with this show. And I got to be on the set and I got to watch, we have these crazy like cage match gladiator fights with swords and people shooting at each other and and car chases. And you can tell by how I'm talking about it, like that was my wish fulfillment as a writer for sure. Up until
well, I will say that She-Hulk is a show that's coming to Disney Plus. There's rumors that Daredevil is going to get rebooted. Those are both shows where the main characters, predominantly day job, they're lawyers. I mean, got to get on that Marvel train, man.
I got to get on that Marvel train.
Just back up the Marvel money truck and just make it happen. I'll call some people. We'll make it happen.
I'll call your name for sure.
Yeah, let them know we talked. All right, with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. Let the people know what shows you have coming out one last time. Where can they watch it? How can they tune in? How can they support?
Nash Bridges, November 27th, USA Network, 9:00 at night on that Saturday night. I'm a huge sports fan. There's no good college football that night. There's no good NBA games that night. There's no NFL games. You'll have gotten your fill from watching Thanksgiving Thursday, and you'll get it on Sunday. Watch that. And then this American Auto Show, I wish I had a date. I don't. But start looking for promos for that. It's 10 episodes. It's really, really funny. The guy who created it worked for many years on The Office. And he created, you mentioned the show Superstore. He created Superstore. And he's kind of the king of workplace comedies. And that's going to be a lot of fun.
Outstanding.
And that's it for now.
That's it for now. So we'll get you back next time when we more shows to promote. I typically say, do you want to promote any of your social media accounts? But
I think you know the answer to that. Promote your own.
Yeah. He'll let me know. We'll post for him, and that we'll promote all the stuff for him. But Bill, thank you so much for taking the time to be on tonight. I really wholeheartedly appreciate it. You're such a good friend. We definitely got to get together soon. My next trip to LA.
Love family, and I think what you're doing is awesome, for real.
Thank you very much, very much. Hang on for a second, and folks at home, stay tuned. We're gonna throw us a break, and we'll be back with more show after this break.
Do you ever online shopping and go, what the is this? We sell the animation cells you're seeing on the screen. What's an animation cell? Well, we all know digital animation is how you make cartoons these days. Animation used to be created by sequencing hand-painted celluloids. Literally thousands of these hand-painted cells would make up just minutes. To own one of these cells is owning a piece of the show and a piece of your childhood. Check out animationlegends.com today, because once these are gone, they're gone for good.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, everybody. It's your favorite Tuesday show host, CQ, with Pop Culture Warrior. And joining me, Mr. Radar.
Hey, Radar.
You know what? I don't care if everybody else thinks it's funny. I love it. Don't stop. Oh, good times, good times. Mr. Radar, what did you think about our friend, Bill Chase?
Loved it. I love the interview.
Isn't he the best?
And I know you guys said you were kind of buddies with him. Mm-hmm. You guys were buddies before all this, right? but you can really tell, like, everyone, dude. You just have like a rapport with them.
Wow.
And it's obviously easier when it's somebody you know already.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just you're fun to watch when you have a guest.
Aww.
Because you're just like buddies with them. At like, even if they're not somebody you knew before, you're just like best friends with them by the end of it. And they want to, like, I don't know, come to your house and like have dinner and stuff. It's great.
I do try to be cordial and warm and inviting to those that come on the show and take the time, and I think I do believe that people have a good time doing the show. I can't tell you how many hours, and I don't ask me, do you know how some people watch pimple popping videos and you're like, oh, that's gross, why do they watch it?
Yeah.
I watch cringe interviews. I watch like podcasts where they obviously don't know what they're doing. They obviously like have no idea what this guest has ever done. It's so cringe inducing. Why I enjoy it as much as I do. It's like watching a car wreck. I do enjoy it. And then it does. It's just like, wow, if I just do the opposite of what they do, we're going to have a great show. And it's like, and it works out. It works out. Heath says CQ should shave his chin and leave the chops and mustache. You think so? So be like, let's see if I can kind of something like that. That's what it's gonna look like.
Right.
I don't know.
Get rid of the soul patch. No, dude, leave it all. I like it.
It looks like Civil War general. Right? This is like that's the look I'm going for now. Yes. Oh, Jim, yeah, it's a great point. You're talking about oh my God, I love her to death. From Parks and Rec. Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank? It starts with an A. Adrian? The chick that she's super awkward, but it's awesome. Oh my God, how am I drawing a complete blank? It's one of my favorite actresses. You know what I'm talking about? Parks and Rec. God damn it! Now this is gonna drive me insane. Hang on. Adrian. God damn it! Let's do it this way.
Because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh man,
I watched that show like twice.
Oh, it's such a good show. It's such a good show. I don't know why you would only watch it twice. It's such a good show.
It was that or get drunk in a cornfield, dude. I don't know what to say.
Maxalot says we need to get this channel to affiliate on Twitch. Looking at radar. Haha. All right. Apparently, Aubrey Plaza. God damn it. Thank you, Jim. Aubrey Plaza. Thank you. Yes, I love her to death. If you watch some of her interviews, she does it. She's totally on purpose. She makes interviews cringy on purpose. Like that's her
like
thing.
Between Two Ferns.
Like that, but imagine that on like Conan or like she'll do it. You could just tell she's having fun making people feel awkward.
Okay.
She'll give like just one day just YouTube Aubrey Plaza awkward interviews. They're the best. But what I'm talking about is like literally like you know think of somebody. Perfect example. We had who do we have on? Like Robbie ML. We had Robbie ML last week. And then so like when I have a guest coming on, I'll type in their name and see what interviews they've done. Cuz I'm like I want to know what questions they get asked a lot so that I can avoid them and or put a different spin on it, right? To just be different. And then you'll find some of these like interviews like you're like I don't know how they got him on that interview, but like you could tell they had no idea what he'd ever done. You could tell they're just like and then it's stuff like so you like acting, huh? It's like yeah. Like those I love watching them. It's like watching a car wreck.
Right. So do you like being in front of a camera and stuff or
So like is this about like whatever? Whatever. But yeah, so back to Bill. he's awesome. Him and his wife are so awesome. Great family, supporting a great organization called Operation Mend. I'm gonna tune in. I didn't grow up watching Nash Bridges, but I want to see what my boy Bill did on it. I want to see what he the spin he put on it. And I'm really looking forward to that show, American Autos, which is supposed to be a comedy. You know me, I love my comedy shows, so I'm definitely gonna tune into that one. So let's support awesome creators that support Pop Culture Warrior. So
absolutely
tune in. What was it? November 27th, 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm assuming, on the USA Network. Nash Bridges. Yeah. I had a thought, and I pitched this to Radar, and I'd love to ask you, the listeners, the viewers, your thoughts. I would like to figure out a way to turn. So my birthday is in the end of January. I'd love to do an episode in celebration of my birthday, and it's going to be the Pop Culture Warrior roast of CQ. And I want you, the viewers, you Radar, could be the host, and and then the viewers can absolutely light me up. All of you. Jim, I'm looking at you especially. You too, Max-a-Lot. We have a predominantly military audience, so I know you guys can bring it. I know you guys could absolutely bring it. And I think it would be very, from my perspective, it'd be very enjoyable. I would love, like Max said, put the ball on the tee and batter up.
Nope.
I mean, pretty much. So if that is something you guys, if you guys think that would be fun and entertaining, and you guys would, he says, does it have to be your birthday for that? I mean, here's the thing. You guys love to take shots at me, and, you know, on any given day, which I enjoy. I mean, I love a good zing, but I'm saying this would be the episode where, like, that's it. That's the point of the episode. So instead of these one-offs, I'd love to just take them on the chin, one after the other, and just we'll get crazy with it. People can send in jokes. People can write them in the comments. You could shoot it and submit it, and we'll play it. We'll do live call-ins. You wanna roast me live? We'll take live callers. I mean, we'll go ham, balls to the wall, and I will even put up and say that the person that can really bring it and like bring me to tears laughing, I will give them the best thing I could possibly give them out of my collection. You know, like a prized possession. I want some creativity. I want some sick burns. Yeah, Matt. Yeah, if you want to roast people that have been on the show, that's fine too. I mean,
no, there's gonna roast me. Radar sucks.
I mean, well, if you've seen a good roast, you know, everybody gets in on it, right? Like, the main person takes the most heat, but everybody roasts everybody. That's kind of the point. Look at Max, you don't need a prize. I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, we don't need a prize. I'm just saying, if someone can bring me to tears and like just have, because I love a good roast. I love a good roast. And nobody loves, you know, CQ taking heat as much as CQ. So I say bring it. Fucking safety's off. Range is hot. We'll set it up. Get people that were on the show. Ooh. That's not a bad idea. I could reach out to some of the people that I'm close to. Because obviously I'm not going to get Robbie Amell to send in a roast of me. but like Bill and some of the other people that I've had on the show, I know a bunch of comedians. So, I mean, they would, oh my God, PJ, off the top of my head, I think PJ would definitely do it. Quentin, Adam, I've had a couple comedians on here. I wonder if Chad I might could convince Chad, and I don't know. There's a bunch of people.
I bet you could convince them to record something and send like a 2-minute,
like a clip or two. Yeah. I think I like this idea.
I don't hate it. I think it'd be fun. I just I don't know.
What you guys? Come on, don't hold back.
I think some people are just going to be dicks about it.
Oh, I'm counting on it.
Like, there's a thing about roasting that's funny, and then there's like roasting to just be an asshole.
I mean, I'm counting on it. Look, I'm opening. I'm rolling out the red carpet, not just for our faithful out there, but also for the trolls and the hobbits and all them that are out there. I'm counting on it. It's part of it. It's part of it.
Okay. All right. If that's what you want, dude, like, yeah. I don't know.
And worst comes to worst, there is a block button. Somebody wants to.
There is.
You know,
that's true.
I'm all for having fun.
The little red hang up button on them and bow through.
Yep. I'm all for having fun. I'm a big boy. I can take it, but I will not let anybody use hate speech and things like that in the chats.
That's what I mean. That's
the kind of stuff. Obviously.
And they just do it. They do it for shock factor, and it's not funny. And that's just what I worry about.
They do it because they need attention and whatnot. But that's fine. But I think the large majority of our audience, I think, knows you know what I mean. Like they know the game. They know how we're playing it, and opening Pandora's roast box. That sounds like a euphemism. Jim says Lisa Lampanelli is probably free.
It's true.
I happen to know the roast master general himself, Jeff Ross. I'm not like personal friends with him, but we've crossed paths many a time and have many conversations. I might reach out to his people, see if I can get him to throw in a joke. I don't know. This idea just came to me. I was talking to Radar. It literally just came to me. So I'm gonna flesh it out. I've got my birthday's at the end of January, so I've got 2.5 months ish to flesh it out. We're all good here, WTF6. But yeah, I like this idea. This could be interesting. I might, who knows? I might be getting more than I asked for, more than I bargained for, but I'm with it. I'm willing to stand on the firing line and
that's what you want, dude. If you're willing, you know what? And I'll take the collateral. It's fine. it's just funny because I'm not near.
Radar is off limits, guys.
Radar's not off limits. Radar's whatever. Radar's fat. Radar'll do it.
Oh man.
Radar retired. It don't matter.
No feelings. If I needed feelings, the army would have issued them to me.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful episode. This was a lot of fun. We saw the live trailer drop of Spider-Man. I told Radar
I've never done that before. That's a new one for me. I've never done that.
Yeah, none of us did. I'm gonna literally get off of this call and watch it 20 more times. Because I want to see every frame by frame by frame. And I'm sure we'll dive into it next week when I've had time to digest it. But my friend Radar, it has come to that point in the evening where we and by we I mean you share with the audience what a typical week here at WTF Nation Radio, home of U.S. Army WTF moments, is typically like.
All right. Well, typically like this. Tonight is Tuesday, and you've been hanging out with CQ and Radar. Typically, you do that. And then Wednesday, it's a Donza day, a day of no scheduled activities. We will have the day off. we'll be hanging out, doing all of our own things, enjoying our friends and family, and not being at work.
Watching more
Thursday,
Spider-Man trailers.
Big one. What's that? Yeah, Spider-Man trailers, whatever. Thursday, big one. Swords time. Ice, Spanky, all the big sergeanting things, active army, National Guard, reserves, retirees, all the things, right? They're going to talk about it. They'll be there on Thursday. Now, Friday Night Freedom. That's right, folks. Friday Night Freedom with Kaz and Pookie. Funny show, good show. You got to be there Friday night for that. Saturday, Sunday, the weekend. Days off. Donza. We get a 48-hour pass. Okay? Bye. See ya. Monday, coming back with the Monday edition. Aptly named because it's on Monday night. With Ice and random co-host. Insert co-host here. Might be me, might be Mom, might be somebody else. Depends on what's going on. It's supposed to be Flash. Flash is saving the world right now. He can't do it. Now, they talk about all things current events, all kinds of... There's some kind of trial going on. That might be done by then. And there's been some other little things here and there. There was some like random shooting and stuff, but whatever. They talk about that kind of stuff. It's funny. Ice is amazing at that stuff. You need to hang out with him. Be there on Monday nights. Now, after Monday is Tuesday. Now, Tuesdays, as we covered before,
typically
is Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar. We hang out. We talk about all things pop culture. I think next week we're probably going to have to talk about Hawkeye coming out a week from tomorrow. I'm kind of excited about it. I think, it's no Spider-Man, but I think CQ is going to enjoy it as well.
I think I'm gonna find something I can take away from it. Heath says, great 80th episode. I have live watched this 80 times now. So if you've been here every night, God bless you. I mean, even Radar can't say that.
Yeah, I can't say that. I haven't been here for all of you. I've been here for probably 75 of them?
I'd say 75. I think it's a good guess. Mm-hmm. It made me curious, and I know I'm supposed to be wrapping up the show now, but it made me curious, and I'm slowly, because that's how things work, I'm slowly going back. I'm at about episode 46 now, so I'm about halfway back. I wanted to see what the comments were on our first show. I'm curious now. I'm very curious. It's very slowly scrolling because it apparently can't go back that far that fast.
It'll be fun. Will be fun for our 100th episode in 20 weeks.
Yeah.
Ish. We should play the first one right before this one.
We could do a side by side, just cringe.
Yeah,
watch.
or we just do commentary, a Mystery Science Theater 3000. Have a little CQ and Radar at the bottom, and critique it.
Maxalot wants to know what you're drinking.
Me? It's Shiner Holiday Cheer. It's not sponsored.
We're not sponsored. It's blurred out for a reason.
Well, it's kind of blurred out. It's just my lighting sucks.
No, that's just you've had too many shiners, and that's why it's blurred out just
to you. It's
only
only my third one. I'm rocking one an hour. That's fine.
Yeah, you'd be fine.
Oh, so sorry about this. So last year, it's one of my favorite beers, and it only comes out, obviously during the holiday time.
Yeah.
And I found some before Thanksgiving. I bought a sixer. Everyone came to my house. Everyone drank my beer, and so I was like, I'll buy more. No, couldn't find any more the rest of the time. So this year, found it, bought a case and a half of it. My beer, Basio.
Oh man,
price won't last, but it's whatever.
I'm looking at some of these. Oh God. Oh man, that's bad.
Don't be bad.
Nah, I'm looking at some of our earlier episodes. It's just that's
Dude, it'll be fine. They're good. Dude, just leave them in the past where they belong.
Yeah, they're a bit cringy. Back before I started numbering the episodes, trying to think. So they would have been, I think March 3rd would have been our first episode. Nope.
Somewhere like that.
Episode.
Oh, but when basically all of our episodes were, well, COVID's here, so we don't know.
Everything's been canceled. Everything has been canceled. Okay. Oh.
Disney is hemorrhaging money. Remember when we thought Walt Disney might actually go bankrupt because they were hemorrhaging money so bad?
Right.
And here they are, basically challenging Elon Musk.
All right, hold on. I found. Oh, Jesus! Sorry about that. That's the sound of our first episode. 287 comments. What were you people commenting on?
How bad we sucked.
I'm just gonna see if there's any names we recognize. People that have been there since the beginning. A lot of people were just like, "What is this? Like, what are you guys doing?" Because they didn't know what the hell we were doing. So many comments. Yeah. I'd be curious. I'd be curious to watch this and see just how oofa. We got a couple of our usuals that were there. God bless, man. You guys have been around for a minute. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by my trip down memory lane, but yeah. This was something. That's for sure. 2 hours. I did 2 hours and 16 first episode. Oh my! Yikes! That is.
What?
Whew, no, I just saw myself from 2 years ago, and it.
I know I wasn't even on camera then, was I?
No, you were not. It was a couple episodes in.
Yeah.
But for those that don't remember the old setup, it was a very different angle, very very different setup.
It was very dark. Your background was very dark back then.
It was dark. The whole show was really dark, but it was just very aggressively just me, and just me. It was too much of me. Now we've done so much. Just all I remember from the first year was just like, well, everything's canceled, so what do you guys want to talk about?
Black Widow coming out. Oh, 2 years from now? All right, tight.
Yeah. It was the things we talked about, man.
The special effects red powder thing, and that fucking pissed me off. Special effects stuff. So bad.
Yeah. I'm looking at the first. I wonder if you remember this. The first episode we talked about, there was a casket challenge where people had to live in a casket for as long as they could to win $10,000 or something like that. It was crazy. It was weird, man. The stuff we were talking about.
That was before inflation, so $10,000. That was so much money back then.
That's pre-COVID, man. You know how much money that was worth? Pre-COVID?
Yeah. Dude, that was pre-Tiger King.
You know how much lumber you could buy with that much money back then?
Back then. You know how much sheetrock you could have bought for $10,000 back in 2000?
All right. Okay, guys. Well, we've reached the end. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for checking us out. You guys are awesome. You guys are what makes it worth it. Really, I honestly believe that. We do this for you. I think I said it live in the show when I was talking to Bill that I don't care if there's one person watching or 1,000. Really doesn't change anything for me. I'm just having fun talking to my buddy Radar and talking with you fine folks at home who tuned in and joined us and geeking out with us. Lots more fun stuff to come. We got some interesting things in the works. I'm excited. I got some stokes in the fire, and yeah, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Come after the holidays. You know, we're gonna things are gonna slow down a little bit for the holidays, but right after the holidays, things are gonna pick up, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys, Max, Jim. You guys are awesome. You're always chatting it up. Really appreciate you, everybody that's in it. Heath, yep. You guys are awesome. Mike, Jim, Joe, all of you guys.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, man.
Yeah,
honestly,
you guys, honestly, the best.
It's coming out.
Yeah,
it was great.
With that, I think we're gonna call it a night. One last big thank you to our sponsors, Animation Legends. Go check them out. Use the link in the description and use the code. Buy yourself a nice gift. Hell, buy me a gift. I don't care. I'll take it. You know, for you. Yeah. I'll do it.
We take gifts. We are buyable. We are purchasable.
You can buy our love and our affection. Absolutely.
If you know anybody at Shinerbach, it's Spetzel Brewery. Spetzel. I'll pronounce it right if you give you free beer.
He'll learn how to pronounce it. All right, guys.
Put your banner on the outlet wall.
You guys, it's been awesome. Looking forward to chatting with you guys next week. We'll be right on the cusp of Hawkeye and some other cool stuff. And gotta go watch that Spider-Man trailer.
Talking about the Spider-Man trailer.
I want to end this just so I can go watch the Spider-Man trailer again. Heath says he loves the Tuesday Radar show. You know what, Keith? Heath, it ain't time for the roast yet, right? Wait, and we'll do the roast after. All right, guys, love you all. We'll see you next week on Pop Culture Warrior. Shots. Say bye, Radar.
Bye, Radar.
Laters. Shots.
You